Hi planty friend, it's Min. I'm so excited today. I wanted to share with you my Hoya collection. There's roughly around about 195 different types of Hoyas to collect in Australia. I'm going to share with you the prices as well because I think it'll be interesting to know the prices of Hoyas around the world. So let's start. So the first one is this one here, which is gorgeous. This is a Hoya Kerri variegated version. So it's outside variegated where the yellow of the leaves are on the outside. They're so cute. The leaves are in a heart shape and there's actually two in this pot here. Each one cost me $35. So this plant here cost me $70 and the leaves are very succulent like. There is another type of Hoya Kerri which is the reverse variegation where the actual yellow part of the leaves are inside the middle part of the plant, and that one I've seen it for about $150 and that's completely out of my price range for a cutting or plant that only has two leaves. So I'm waiting for it to go down in price, then I'll purchase it later on. But I'm still super happy with this gorgeous plant, Hoya Kerri outside variegation. And then I also have another Kerri which is the normal green version, and you can see more detailing of the heart-shaped leaves. This one I find the leaves are not quite as succulent compared to my other Kerri but I think it's still super cute and it's just plain green, but I think because of the shape of the leaves I'm just in love with this Hoya. I have a few Hoya Obovata and I have actually 4 of them and each one cost me $25. So the first one is your normal Hoya Obovata, which has its rounded shaped leaves. It has a little bit of speckling of silver in it. I actually love this plant because the leaves are big and they're rounded. Super cute. I haven't seen it flower. I only bought this about 3 months ago. So I'm just waiting for it to flower once the actual cutting or the plant has matured. And then I have another type which is called Obovata Chimera. And Chimera, same sort of shape, leaves, succulent as well. A little bit more speckling of silver on the leaves and still super cute. And also the back side, it also has a slightly darker veining at the back side of the leaves. And then I have another type which has a lot more silver, which is called Obovata Splash. You can see that's got a lot more silver on it. Once again, same shape of leaves. So yeah, if I bring it up to my normal Obovata, you can tell the difference. Like this one has more splashes of silver compared to this one here. I also have another one here, which is Obovata Variegata. So it has a little bit of yellowing parts of the leaves. Has a little bit of speckling on it. Actually, it has more speckling compared to the standard Obovata. Gorgeous plant. I love the fact that there is a little bit of yellow at this middle of the leaves and then the speckling of the silver. Very cute. So this one here is Hoya Snowball and it has rounded leaves but the ends of the leaves are a little bit pointy. So it's a little bit different compared to the Hoya Obovata. It's also quite a succulent kind of thick sort of leaf kind of plant. And this one here, it belongs to the Hoya Carnosa family. So it's one of the varieties of Hoya Carnosa and has these silvering speckles or spots on its leaves. Super cute. This one here cost me $25 for a one stem cutting of this plant. This next cutie here is called Hoya Lisa. It's a type of Hoya Carnosa and the leaves start growing out as pink leaves, and as the leaf matures it goes to a green, lighter green sort of color variegation, more like a marbling on the leaves. Absolutely adorable. So this Hoya Lisa has gone down in price in Australia. I've seen one 6 months ago that was $100 per small plant, and this one actually has 3 in the pot, and this cost me $35. And you know what's better than one Hoya Lisa? Well, it's 2 Hoya Lisa. Yes, I brought 2. I was at Botanica Nursery and I couldn't decide which one I should buy, whether I should bought this one here or whether I should have bought this one here. I was standing there at the counter because that's where they had it for 15 minutes and I thought this is ridiculous. I'm just going to treat myself and I bought both of them. I don't know what you think. Which one would you choose? The one in the blue pot or the one in this green pot? I'm not sure what I'm going to do in spring. I might pot them together in spring. I won't do it now because I'm probably going to die if I pot it now because it's still acclimating to my home. And I forgot to tell you, these ones cost me $35 each. And I think that's great value because each pot actually has 3 plants in it. And yes, come to spring, whether I put it into one big pot or I might just keep them in these little pots. They kind of look really cute in these little pots. I don't know what you think. Maybe leave a comment in the comment section down below. What would you do? Would you pot it into one big pot or leave it in these little pots? And which one would you have chosen as well? So this one here is called Hoya Matilaide Splash. It's absolutely gorgeous. It has these small rounded leaves. And I love the fact that this one here is trailing a lot and has these lots of silvery splashes on the leaves. I actually have a few of these, and once again I couldn't decide which one to purchase. I said to myself when I was purchasing it, I'm going to give it away to friends, but so far I can't get rid of any of them. Well, I can't give away any of them. I love them all, so I might be greedy and keep them all to myself. This is the first Hoya I purchased. So this is the first Hoya Matilaide I purchased Splash, and this one here cost me $35 and it's in a small pot. And this one here I purchased recently, a couple of weeks ago, and it's actually $27. So it's come down in prices in Australia, and there's actually 3 or 4 plants in this pot. So that's why the pot looks super full. And I also have another version as well, which is just the normal Hoya Matilaide. So this one here is Hoya Matilaide. It doesn't have as much silvering spots of the leaves, and that's why it's just a normal Hoya Matilaide and not the Splash version. And once again, this pot is super full. There's like 3 or 4 plants in this pot. And this one here also cost me $27. I bought it from Bunnings, which is the Australian version of Lowe's or big box store in America. And I was super surprised on the prices, because these Hoyas used to be a lot more expensive. And also I'll say that Bunnings had a really great deal for $27 for a full pot. And I absolutely love it. Love the fact that the leaves are small and cute and rounded. This little kitty here is called Hoya Purple Pride, and I absolutely adore it because the leaves are pink in color, especially these ones here. And really that's what attracted me to the plant, the fact that it has pink leaves and the outside of the leaves a little bit white as well, which with the variegation. And this one here is also a Hoya that's in the Carnosa range, and this one here cost me $35. It's a little bit more expensive considering it's only 1 plant, but I couldn't leave her behind, and she's just absolutely adorable. This next one here is called Hoya Erythrina. I hope I said that right, not quite sure, but she cost me $35, which is, I think, is great value because there's 2 in a pot. What attracted me to her was her absolutely stunning leaves. The leaves are longer. The edges of the leaves are a little bit wavy. It's got spots of silver on the leaves. And this Hoya here, the leaves tend to grow more compact, I find. So there's not as much spacing in the stem before the next leaf grows. So this next Hoya I have is called Hoya Fungii. I love her because her leaves are so unique. It's huge, the leaves. You can see some striation of the veining of the leaves, and she doesn't have much speckling, just a little bit of silvery speckling like this one here. But I think the main attraction to this plant is the shape of the leaves and the edges of the leaf being a little bit wavy. And also the leaves start off with this kind of like this bronze sort of coloring, and as the leaf matures it starts to go to a darker green sort of coloring. And I also did a little bit of research on her, and I've heard that this plant the flowers are huge and rounded like a ball, but also the flowers is very fragrant. So I'm hoping she'll flower for me one day and I could see how fragrant the flowers are. And I absolutely adore her. She cost me $35, which is great value because there's actually 4 in the pot. So that's Hoya Fungii. This is my Hoya Pubicalyx. Absolutely adore her. She has these long elongated leaves that have silver speckling on it. She's a little bit sun stressed, so you can see some of the leaves are a bronzy color, and that's because she's received enough sunlight. And she's got this massive, look at this, it's like a massive long new growth. So this stem here is actually new growth. So if you ever see a Hoya that has stems coming out like this, don't ever cut it, because that's the new growth of the plant. So hopefully later on she'll start to produce leaves on those stems. She hasn't flowered for me, so I'm hoping she'll flower soon, and she cost me $20, and there's 3 actually individual plants in this pot. So this one here is called Hoya Super Splash, very similar to Hoya Pubicalyx. Her leaves are also long and elongated with lots of silver splashes on the leaves, and the coloring in the leaves is a little bit lighter compared to the Pubicalyx. And her leaves are actually larger than Pubicalyx. I'm not sure if that's because this plant is more mature compared to my Pubicalyx. Not quite sure, so I wouldn't be able to let you know on that one. But this one here cost me $35. There's 2 in the pot. She's still in her nursery pot, so I really hope IKEA goes on sale so I can buy new pots. This one here is called my Hoya species Pink. Her leaves have a little bit of speckling of silver on it, not much. Her leaves are quite thick and succulent. I always find that the Hoyas that have thick and succulent leaves tend to be more hardy, and she cost me $15. I also have another version of this plant here, which is this one here, which is the Hoya species Pink Splash, and you can see why she's called Splash, because there's a lot more silvery splashes on the leaves. And this one here cost me $25, and I absolutely love both of them. So this one here, which is the normal Hoya Pink species, and this one here, which is the splash version with lots of silver spots and splashes all over the leaves. And both of them are super hardy to take care of. Well, I should say super easy to take care of. So this little cutie here is called Hoya Hindu rope outside variegation, otherwise known as the Indian rope plant. This one here, the variegation's on the outside, that's where the name comes from. And I couldn't leave her behind because she has these adorable pink and cream colored leaves. And this one here I found it's highly variegated. I haven't seen many in Australia that has really good variegation. And she cost me $35, which has gone down in price because my other one, which I've killed, cost me $15, and that was only one small plant, where there is actually 3 in this pot for $35. And I absolutely love Hindu rope Hoyas because of the curly leaves, and they grow on these long stems, so it ends up looking like a rope. And I also have another Hindu rope, which is the normal green version, and I've had her for about 3 years now, I would say, 3 or 4 years, roughly around about there. And she's all green, absolutely easy plant to take care of and easy to propagate. I'm not holding her because she's too big to hold, but I purchased her for about $12 as a tiny little cutting 3 or 4 years ago, and now she's huge. I propagated her a few times, and I did a propagation recently. So if you want to know how to propagate Hoyas, I'll pop a link down below and above as well. Check out that video. And I love them both. I'm also looking for the Hoya inside variegation, where the yellow or the cream colored variegation is actually on the inside of the leaf rather than the outside of the leaf. This one here is called Hoya Pink Princess, absolutely adorable Hoya, and I've been told that her leaves can go a little bit pink if she has enough sunlight. So far my Krimson Princess doesn't have any pinkiness to the leaves. It's more like a yellow cream variegation in the center of the leaf, and she cost me $35. There's also a Hoya Crimson Queen that I'm looking for that tends to have more pink, but I'm looking for one that has good variegation. I've seen it in Australia for $35, but the ones I've seen don't have good variegation, so I'm going to wait longer until there's one that really has great variegation, and then I'll purchase that one. This one here is called Hoya Pubicalyx, and I think I need to put a support stake in this pot because I think it doesn't look that great trailing down. I think I prefer this plant to trail upwards. And there's actually 3 in the pot, 2 small one and this very long sort of stem here. And the leaves start off, well, they start off this bronzy, gorgeous bronzy red sort of coloring, and then as it matures it becomes this dark sort of coloring to the leaf, and there's some striations to the leaf, so you can actually see this the actual veining on the leaves. And this plant here cost me $35, which isn't bad because there's 3 in the pot, but I'm definitely going to have to stake this plant up. This is Hoya Lamingtonia, and she looks more like a shrub to me compared to a Hoya. Her leaves, her leaf shape, it reminds me of like a gum tree leaf, being small and elongated. And I would probably think that if I was walking down the street and saw this Hoya, I'd probably think she's a shrub, not a Hoya. And she cost me $35. This one here is a little bit more difficult to take care of, and I find that she does need a little bit higher temperature and also a bit more humidity to grow properly. So a little bit more difficult, but she cost me $35. And you know what? I'm collecting Hoyas, so she had to go in my collection. This one here is called Hoya Dischorensis. She's a lovely plant. She's not like one of those like super eye-catching Hoyas. She does have her plain green leaves, no speckling of silver on the leaves or variegation. There is a little bit of veining on the leaves, and she does have this long stem, so hopefully more leaves will grow out of it soon. And she's meant to have yellow flowers. This plant actually hasn't ever flowered for me, so hopefully one day she will. And she cost me $15, so a super cute little plant, or cute little Hoya I should say, to grow. And that's all the Hoyas I have in my collection so far. I'm hoping to collect one day 195 Hoyas. Who knows if I ever get there. And once I have more Hoyas, I'll share those with you as well. And if you want to know how to take care of Hoyas, you should watch this video here. I'll pop a link down below as well. And don't forget to subscribe, help your planty lady out so I can create more content. And I'll see you in the next video. See you then.